So we are live here in the UK. It's 12 o'clock in the UK. We have a special, obviously, Suraj here, founder Women Podcast. We have Presley Tennant back on the podcast. How are you, Presley?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Fantastic, not bad. Thank you very much. We're here to obviously to chat about your latest music and about you've had a little break from music as well from 22 to 24. We'll talk a little bit about that. And obviously, for anybody who doesn't know your website, which everybody should do, but if they don't, this is obviously your website, www.presleytennant.com. And I'm hoping some more people will come live, but there is a time difference in the UK, so we do know UK people like their sleep. So, um, so, but people will watch this afterwards, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. So this is presleytennant.com. If you're watching this afterwards, this is Presley's website, official website. All our music is on there. Can people purchase your music on your website? I've forgotten now.
Yes,
They
everything
can.
is linked from my website. Everything from tour dates to shows to
Wow.
merchandise, music, everything that you can think of is all there.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I was on your website earlier as well and just having a quick check. And yeah, it's a very, very detailed website. It's all,
Thank you.
yes, it's great. Yeah, absolutely. So, tell us about why was there a break from 22 to 24? Was it intentionally? Is it intentional break or?
It wasn't necessarily an intentional break from 22 to 24. But I think for me, I had released a lot of music previously. I want to say from 2020 to 2022. And I had just come off like this EP, 600 Miles. And I knew for myself, I think as I get older and the more life experiences that I go through, I want to be able to take them all in and really dive into what those are. And so I started going out to Nashville pretty consistently last year, about once a month. And for me, it was, I wanted to write as much as I could, getting to work with all these different writers and these different artists and really pick their brains to help figure out what was like the next chapter of my life on where I'm going with music. And that was a big thing for me. And so I started writing a bunch. I don't even know how many songs I have. There's too many to count at this point. But it was kind of just one of those things where I wanted to create this catalog and then see which ones kind of float to the top. And so I put out a new song earlier this year, on April 19th, which I'm very excited about because it's my first single back in a while. And it was kind of just one of the ones where I knew I wanted something fun and pretty upbeat and something that a lot of people could relate to in a way. Because for me, it was, the whole song is called Somebody Like You. And there's a lot of times, whether in relationships, friendships, whatever it is, but someone can come back around and say, well, you're never going to find somebody like me. And so I was out with some friends and I ran into some people and there was something that was said that sparked that idea. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of like a cool take, but like, how could we flip it? And so I can be a little sassy sometimes. And so when I kind of thought of like oh, you're never going to find somebody like me, I was like, okay, well, that's kind of the whole point of this, of like when you stop being friends or in a relationship with somebody. And so I took it into the right with Michael Delaney and we came up with this idea and all of a sudden it was like the song was born and it was really fun, like sassy, just, like sometimes it doesn't work out. And so it was kind of like everything is like opposites attract, but it's not always the case sometimes. And so when we wrote the song, then now it's finally out and I'm very excited for it to be out because I feel like it's been a long time coming, but I'm very, very thrilled.
Yeah, because you did. Yeah, I did see on the website, like you said, you did release a lot of music in 22, and sometimes it's good to for singers and authors, even authors as well, and it's sometimes it's good to take a step back, isn't it? And get something fresh out, and you don't want to sometimes maybe overexposing is not great as well. You can come back and you may come with some fresh ideas as well.
Yeah. And I think the more that I write, especially out in Nashville, I feel like the writing styles is I wouldn't say very different from out here because I'm originally from California and I still live out here, but I'm out in Tennessee once a month. And so I get the best of both worlds, I like to say. But it's a different process. And I don't know, maybe, Nashville is almost like a machine, the way everything is so precise. And there is a very clear thought process on every single writer that I get to work with. And they all are working towards the same goal. And so I've gotten really accustomed to working out in Nashville and writing in the same way that they do, which I think is really cool because I remember my first write that I had out there, 5 years ago now. It wasn't even that long. I want to say maybe three years ago. I remember one of my first writes, I had been writing my entire life. Well, not my entire life, but I want to say when I was 13, I started writing, but it was so different. Like the process just going into it was so different. And I didn't really think that, I'm like, you're writing a song. How could it be? How is there different processes on that? And so when I started going out to Nashville, and they were like, oh, like, this is the way that we usually do it. And so it opened my eyes and I was like, everybody's so productive. They're so clear and concise with whatever they want to say. And I thought that was really cool. And they're trying to make ways to flip the title and flip the hook, while still keeping it interesting. And like every single line has to be able to stand by itself. And I was like, this is everything that I ever could have dreamed of. And so I don't know, I'm very thankful that I get to go out there and then get to write and then come back here and then play a bunch of shows. It's really, I'm very fortunate for that.
Yeah, and considering you are still very, very young, so it shows that you started obviously very young, and I've seen you as well on YouTube when you attended the audition show, and at that time when you were singing with Kelly Clarkson, and you were obviously even more younger then. But so it shows, like you said, you started very young, and that's actually a good thing because obviously you've already grown quite a lot already. Even when anybody looks at your music, you can tell you've already grown so much, and you're still so young. So you've got loads of years ahead of you, where you can grow even further with your music and make even more strides in country music, which is hard to believe because you've already made so many strides already in country music already.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you've done it. And there was one track which you released. Was it called? Was it something in the orange? I think it was a cover.
Yes.
And even on YouTube, it's got loads of views on YouTube as well, let alone. But on TikTok, what it said when I searched for that on Google, it said that TikTok totally went another way when that released. It was like crazy numbers.
Yeah.
So is that the highest number of views? Is that the cover? Do you think?
For a total, like for one song, yes, but with all of them combined, I think it's a little different. But that definitely also adds into the equation because I remember I listened to, it was a Zach Bryan song, and I listened to his American Heartbreak album. He had just dropped it right before I was flying back to Nashville, and so I added it to my playlist. It was about 35 songs, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this on the way back. I listened to every song, but something about Something in the Orange always kind of stuck out to me in a way. And I thought it was interesting after listening to it a few times, and I've already kind of heard about it through TikTok and like the different little single leaks and things like that. There was something so special about it, and so I remember thinking like, oh, like what would it be from the girl's perspective? And because it talks about this girl who's going away and isn't coming back. And I was like, what if she was coming back and he just doesn't know yet and he's overthinking and he's in his head? And so I rewrote it I wouldn't even say rewrote it. I changed the perspective of the song to the girl coming back. And all of a sudden I just posted the chorus to TikTok, and all of a sudden it blew up out of nowhere. And I was like, this is insane. It was like 3 days later too. And I wasn't thinking anything of it. I just I just posted it, just to do your thing. And like 2-3 days later, it started getting a lot of views, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, what is going on? And so a lot of people had been asking for a full version, and I was like, okay, like I could try and figure something out. And because I'm in California, I don't know too many people out here that do like studio time. And so I asked my guitarist, and I was like, hey, if I come over with my GarageBand stuff, like, can we record this like on my computer or my little laptop? And so we recorded it. I watched a little mix and mastering for dummies on YouTube, and I put it all together, and I was like, sent it off to my team, and I was like, hey, should we release this? Like, is this smart? And they're like, yeah, sure, why not? And so we released it, and it's done really well. I am very grateful for that song. There's a lot of people who wouldn't have necessarily listened to my music right off the bat, but because of that song are now listening to my music now, and I'm very, very thankful for that. I mean, I think any way of getting the way I love to do music, my art form out there, I think is a really cool way to do it. And especially with social media nowadays, you're able to kind of do anything, which is really cool. So I don't know. It's a really awesome thing to be a part of right now.
Yeah, because before it used to be like if you're a guy, you have to just sing in their perspective as a okay in the male version, or if you're a female, you have to sing obviously being a woman, you have to sing in that way. But now I don't think that's the case anymore. Obviously, because you're a singer and a singer are versatile, are they? So they can sing whichever perspective is really. It should already make a difference because you're a singer, which is good to see. That happening, and yeah, like you said, I think that did because considering I've seen so many articles about that. Actually, when you type your name in on Google, it comes up. It comes up about that cover version, and how was it such a massive thing, and you know, it went crazy viral and stuff. But yeah, absolutely. So when did you decide to write this track?
So it was almost right. I think it was right the day after I got home from Tennessee. I had listened to it, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm gonna try it this way. And I like just posted it to just the one thing. It took maybe 20 minutes to like reconfigure in a way. And then I posted it, and it did well. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll rewrite the whole song, and I'll try that and give a different perspective. And so I redid that, and I want to say maybe took 45 minutes max. It was one of those things. It didn't take very long. And sometimes that's the way it is. I mean, for music, it's just, I mean, half my job was already done with how incredible the song was already. And so I just kind of took it and put it into a different perspective. But I don't know. It didn't take very long, and I just posted it. I released it to YouTube first, and then all of a sudden it got on Spotify and Apple Music, and now it's there, and everyone can listen to it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And do check it out if you're watching this afterwards. Then do check it. Do have a check it on there, and check on Presley's website, which we will post, and it will be on the description as well. Yeah, and talking about your new music, which we are here to talk about your new music, which is come out, and so it's called Something Like You. So this was released in April.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did the single come about? The idea behind the single.
Yeah, so I wrote the song with Mr. Michael Delaney, and I was out with some friends for I think we were celebrating something, and I was out with some friends, and I ran into some people, and there was some like exchange that we had, and it kind of sparked this idea of, oh, like I'm never gonna find somebody like them again. And it was kind of like, the typical saying when people are like, oh, you're never gonna find somebody like me, and they think they're all cool, and they're like, yeah, like I'm the best that you're ever gonna get. And I'm like, I take that phrase, and after even a friendship, a relationship, whatever it is, I'm like, things don't work out sometimes, and that's totally fine. but there's also so much better out there anyways. No matter, it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, like there's always going to be somebody that or something that's to the next level, I want to say. And that's not a comparison thing. It's just where we are in life at that moment of time. And there's nothing wrong with that. We also have to grow and learn each and every day. But when I thought of that, I was like, oh, like, and I can be a little sassy. I can be a little bit of a what's the right word? Snarky. I can be a little snarky sometimes. I have dry humor. So I'm like, I have to throw one in there. I heard it and I was like, good. Like, that's kind of the point. Like, why wouldn't we? Like, why would I want to find something like that? And it was just the idea that based off of it. So I took it into my write with Michael Delaney and I kind of told him a little bit about like what I was thinking. And the song came to be. I feel like we sat in that room for maybe like an hour and a half and the song was finished. And I was like, this is what I wanted. Wow, this is great. And it was really cool to see it all kind of come to fruition from nothing into the full song. And then I tracked it earlier this year. I want to say back in January or February. And then we got the song back and then we put it out and there's so much more music coming. So I can't wait for everybody to hear, but I'm excited for that. That was the first one back out.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like a very nice track. And like you said, I mean, nicely said. Obviously, anybody, if somebody thinks you can't get better than them, then I think they're living in the wrong world, to be honest. They're just maybe a bit full of themselves, a bit too much.
Well, and I think that's the main thing about the song is I remember there was so many people reaching out and they're like, oh, is this what I think it's about? And I'm like, no, it's just a song, guys. But I mean, if you think that it's about them, then so be it. But also at the same time, I'm like, this is basically based off of what I don't want. What I don't want to be. It doesn't have to be about a certain situation. It's just like second verse is, you know, people can take way too long to get ready sometimes. And it's like, what if I don't want that? Like, what if I want somebody that, like, the first line is, you like the fast lane, I like them back roads. It's just like, it's just opposites don't attract all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know, it's little things. And I don't know. It was a little chapter of my life, I feel like, in a way, but also at the same time, I'm like, this is, everybody can relate to this some way, somehow. That's the important part. That's the important part.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody can relate to that. I mean, I'm sure nearly everyone's been in that kind of a situation somewhere down the line. To be honest, even so, some of my mates, they take forever to get ready. And I'm like,
you're like, come on.
Like, I get ready in about 5 minutes. I understand, obviously, if you're a girl, and this is not being sexist in any way, because I wouldn't be.
I took the longest time getting ready. I don't want a guy that's
women take time to get ready, which is fine. There's no problem with that. That's fine. That's up to 100% fine. Which is fine. But my mates, which are obviously guys, and one of them takes forever to get ready. I'm like, how long do I have to wait for you? You know, like
it's just so funny. It's so funny because I'm like, it just happens. It doesn't matter what it is. It's not meant to be taken anyway. Besides lighthearted, and I think that's
exactly. So yeah, absolutely. So this is a track you made. How long did it take you to make this track? Did it take a long time?
It took probably, writing wise, probably took us an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then for tracking, I want to say it only really, in total, probably 3 hours. And then countless hours for my producer and the engineers. But, because that's a whole different art form. But I mean, start to finish, I didn't feel like it took very long, which is really cool. Sometimes it happens that way, but sometimes songs can take years to work on, or I wouldn't even say years, but I would say months and different things like that. And there's nothing wrong with any of it.
Yeah, that's true. Is because I've chatted to some artists who said it's taken them months to write the track, to some of them, and then some go, oh, I just wrote it very quickly and stuff, and like, but yeah. So this this the first track of the EP of the album? Is this going to? This was the first one.
This is the first single of this year. I have about 6 singles ready to be lined, or 5 singles already
Wow.
lined up for the rest of this year, which I'm very excited for. And then more to come after that. But at least in the meantime, right now, this is kind of what we're working with. And I'm really excited for everyone to hear the rest of them.
Yeah, and is there like any was there a plan to do any like a music video for this, or is
There
there
is
no?
something coming soon for something else, but
Yeah.
I can't say too much yet. So not for this
Oh,
song, not for this song. I'll say that.
oh, excellent, excellent, definitely, and definitely, and yeah, absolutely. That's very exciting, very very exciting stuff down the line, and I'm sure we will bring you back for the new singles for sure.
Thank you.
But yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely. So is it any title for the EP at the moment, or is just not at the moment?
Not at the moment right now. It's
Mm.
just singles. EP probably would be later on right now. I want to my whole thing with EP, I put out my last EP 600 miles, but I feel like that was that chapter in my life and so I want to make it where it's this project that's wouldn't even say about one certain situation, but I want to make sure that it's all so cohesive that you can listen down from top start to finish, track 1 to track 5 or 6 or however many songs are on the album or EP. And it be a real clear and concise thing and almost like it's a story. And I think that's really cool because I feel like a lot of music, I wouldn't necessarily say now, but I think now is more of like different songs that can go on a different playlist or it's all in one playlist, which is really cool. But I don't know, EP is in the works. I wouldn't say that it's named yet, but there are some definitely ideas.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Yeah, that looks very, very, very exciting stuff there for the album. And yeah, what's the reaction been like when you released your music? Is that something you release yourself? I know obviously you've got the PR Bun Entertainment, those guys who are fantastic. They do a great job. They're there as well. So who promotes? Who releases the music? Is that yourself? Is that just yourself doing it?
So it's myself and my team, and my team is some of the best people I've ever worked with. I mean, with at Burning Ground Entertainment and Core PR, they are
Yeah.
the
Oh
most
yeah.
hardworking ladies, and I'm very, very thankful for them. But I don't know, it's really like a collaborative thing. Like, there's so much like metadata and things like that, but they do a lot of just getting the song out there in places that I would not know how to put the song out. I mean, when it
Mm.
comes to social media and shows and things like that, I absolutely have that covered. But also, they help me out in so many different ways, more than one. Even when it comes to social media, and they're like, "Okay, like this is like, what about try this?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, cool! I would have never thought of that, but this is why I love them." And so
Yeah. That's true.
in so many just different ways, so it's a little bit of like a collaborative effort, but I am very thankful because I mean the more people the merrier. That's my whole thing. There's so many different outlooks and different ways to go about things, and so why not try them all?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good to have a team like that because you have a different perspective, and they like you said, and they do these kind of stuff every day, don't they? Really, with some very talented artists like yourself and some more. So they have that kind of expertise on how to promote it, where we probably wouldn't think of where to promote it stuff. Yeah, I will find it hard to promote the podcast on the social media, to be honest. um,
It's there's so
because
many, and
yeah,
the algorithm changes 24/7, and it's like as
it
soon
does,
as
it does.
you start to get a hang of it, and then they're like, "Just kidding, we're changing it," and I'm like, "What does that
Yeah,
mean?" I'm like, "If it's not broke, don't fix it." Like, it's one of those things. But also, I love social media for so many different reasons. But then also, I'm like, if I could delete it sometimes, I would.
mm,
But also, I'm like that. I love staying updated with my friends and seeing what everybody's doing and the new music that's coming out. And I think that's really cool that you can be on opposite sides of the world, like how we are right now, doing
mm.
this, getting to talk to each other. And I don't know, it's just so cool.
Yeah, I think that part of social media is good, where you can speak to the people around the world, and I guess a long time some artists before they couldn't do that, could they really? And um, it was uh, it was harder to promote themselves. But yeah, there are lots of good stuff on there. on social media as well. On yeah, I guess once you get used to one social media, then you get used to it. Like I'm used to Twitter, and I keep going on to Twitter, on Facebook, but obviously then you have to get used to other social media as well, and then becomes a little bit tricky, how to figure it all out.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So is there any plans when the next single will be released at the moment, or is that?
Yes. So the next single is coming out very, very soon, a lot sooner than people will think. And
Oh,
then
fantastic.
it's a really fun one. It's called Bad Decisions. I think for me, I really wanted like a summertime kind of beachy song in a way, but also that felt just like what summer reminds me of. And me being from Southern California, I am surrounded by the palm trees and the beach and all these different things, and so I wanted those kind of vibes in there. Um, but while also it's like still going out and having a good time with the girls and that sort of feeling. And so the song's coming out very soon. It's called Bad Decisions, and sometimes we all make them, and sometimes you get some great stories out of it. So that's what I have learned, and I can't wait for everyone to hear it.
Oh wow, it sounds a very exciting single. So how do you when you release this, when you plan to, like, okay, this is going to be my next single, um are these based on your own life, or are these based on characters which you have to start from scratch and then think of, this is the music I'm going to do?
I think a lot of it is based off of like my own life and kind of what season I'm in and different feelings
Hmm.
of what I'm going through during that time. And I mean, for somebody like you, I wanted something fun. Like as my first single back out, I wanted something really fun and upbeat, but also still kind of a little lighthearted because a lot of the stuff that I had before is like very dramatic for an 18-year-old.
Hmm.
I was like, my world's ending because my friends are going away to college, and I'm like, I still talk to them all the time. So it really wasn't that way. But for these ones, like I wanted a fun one as my first one out. And then because summer is now starting, I'm like, I have to have like one summer song that really embodies the feeling. And then the songs after that are really special to me, which I'm very excited for those to be coming out. And it's kind of like a little difference of taste. I feel like there's a little bit of everything in there, and I am just very, very thrilled for everyone to see these or to listen to these.
Yeah, definitely. It looks a very Presley Tennant summer, to be honest, and it's going to be like lots of music for people to be enjoying. Definitely, and a lot of fans which are joining itself on the social media, which will be watching this in one of the platforms, and obviously we'll share it everywhere. I'm sure they would be looking forward to your next singles, music, and eventually your EP as well. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is a lot of amazing stuff, and it's nice that you're still keeping in touch with your college friends. How hard is it to keep in touch with people when you're that busy?
Um, I mean, it kind of just depends. I feel like we're all doing our own little thing, and
Hmm.
I'm not necessarily someone who needs to be on the phone texting somebody 24/7 to know that we're still friends. And so as long as like, and all of my friends are kind of the same way. And so it's one of those things that once they're back home, we'll go grab lunch and then we'll catch up like nothing even happened, like no time has passed. And I think that's really cool because um, I don't know, we're all on the same page. Like we all have our own lives got kind of going on, and but we're excited to catch up and excited to see what's new and what's exciting for all of us. Like one of my friends, she's out in New York and she's doing incredible things. And then one of my friends is near me, but it's like we have completely different schedules. So I only see her if I'm lucky, maybe one or two times a month. But it works out because we are all on the same page.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. That's nice. That is a really nice thing to be able to keep in touch, and make an effort to keep in touch with people. I think that keeps a person in the right space as well. And so obviously, and yeah, and obviously, and having those kind of nice friends around you, it always helps as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I will say
Yeah.
that it's really cool when I get to like actually catch up with them and sit down, even though if it's been a month, 2 months, 3 months, depending on however long they're gone. But it's just so heartwarming to see how well everybody's doing and what they're up to.
Yeah, absolutely. So do check it out. Do check out Presley's website. It's really good. Well, all the music is on there, so you can get any of the music directly on there. You don't need to. You can get it from everywhere else as well. And I'm not saying you can't. You can, but you can get it directly on Presley's website as well, presleytennant.com. Do check it out, and her latest music is on there. Uh, which is somebody like you. So do check it out on there, and yeah, absolutely. And and is that on your YouTube channel as well? Is it posted on there?
Yes, it should be on there. As long as people look it up, it'll pull right up.
Yeah, and which is getting lots of views as well. I've seen your in the last all of the tracks really, to be honest, and they've got good reaction, which is always a positive thing for a singer.
Yeah.
That's what you know. That's what you like to see, the good views there. So people are watching and appreciating your music, which is really great to see. So do check out Presley's YouTube channel, which all of the links are on our website, and her new music is there. And do stay tuned because she's releasing lots of music, and she's going to keep you all busy in this year.
We're gonna have
Um,
some fun with this new music. I'm excited.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely, and it's something to. A lot of people are definitely going to be looking forward to it because when people listen to music, and I remember when I used to grow up and I was listening to MJ and all of them, then we used to get hooked up to, okay, when's the next music, when's the next one, and that when you become a fan, and that's what you do, though. You want to connect with that person, and those artists, they didn't have that kind of a connection on because there was no social media, was there? Really, there was nothing. So I think this helps that little bit of a nice touch with the fans and the singers.
I love
Yeah,
it. I feel like there's such a way now to connect with people through social media. I feel like people actually get to also see like what's going on in your personal life and like what's like that whole thing. I think is really cool because everything's at the touch of your fingertips now, and
yeah,
it's really, I would say it's very convenient. I think is the right word. I mean, it's so easy to listen to music now. You don't have to get a CD or a vinyl or whatever it is. You could just literally play it from your phone, and it's just right there. And it's like, oh my gosh. But you could still do everything else too. But I don't know. I do love having a hard copy of songs. That is like my favorite.
and is there any plans to be touring abroad in the UK?
I would love to. I'm also
Yeah,
I'm also a big soccer fan, which we might have talked about last time. So like I'd be going for like work and pleasure. Like I'd go watch soccer games as you guys
yeah.
call it
I think
football.
I think you mentioned something. Yeah. I'm sure you did mention
So I'm
something about
like,
soccer.
I have to make a stop out there at some point and go watch a couple of games,
Hmm.
and then it'll all work out. I'm just gonna say that that's my reasoning. Like, but no, it's gonna happen soon. So
Yeah, definitely. I think you'll get fantastic reaction as well because there's one which I don't know. I think you may have interacted with her, Kirsty Kraus.
love her.
Um, yeah, she's great. She's totally great. She is. We've had her on here a couple of times, and we were planning to bring her on. But obviously, I think we got the times mixed up or something. But yeah, we are planning to bring her on, and she went to the UK recently, and she had a good reaction, and I think you'll have a really really good reaction in the UK, definitely.
I will
Um,
definitely have to make a stop out there, and or I wouldn't even say
mm,
one stop. I got to make a few stops. So hopefully soon,
yeah,
crossing my
definitely,
fingers.
definitely, yeah, absolutely. And if you come to the UK, definitely, then I'm definitely going to make an effort myself. But yeah, absolutely, definitely. So yeah, so do check out her new music is already out there. So somebody like you and her other music will be out. So stay tuned for that, and I'm sure we will be in touch regarding the new music as well very, very soon. Uh, there's me pressing the wrong buttons again, but anyway, but yeah, so we will obviously hopefully bring Presley back very soon when she has her new music, new singles to bring some exclusive news on that on this. But I'm sure it's already doing well. I'm going to say I hope it breaks more records, but I'm sure it's already breaking records already. I'm sure it is.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much again for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you very much, Anna Castle, for making it happen. And obviously, she's always very nice, and she's been very nice to myself as well, and sending those messages. So thank you to thank you to her, thank you to the whole team of Burn Entertainment, and thank you to yourself, Presley, for taking out the time to come on here.
So
Um,
thank you so much for doing this. I know it's so late for you right now.
it is very late. So after this,
We're getting close to one.
I'm crashing out after this straight away. I'm crashing out after this because obviously I've got work in the morning. So yeah. So thank you very much. I'm wishing you lots of success for this for your music, and wishing you a very nice week this
Thank
week.
you so much. You as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.